What's going on? Move the Mouse here, back in the town of Santa Rica with our Let's Play Season 2, Episode number 3. And we're picking up right where we left off. So we've got our little windy neighborhood here on the coast. The pollution's not too bad, but it's not great either. I wouldn't want to live right in front of the sewage outlet. So at some point, we'll move those down towards the bridge and get those away from the residential areas. This neighborhood has filled out nicely. We've got our little... our first little green neighborhood as well too, that got filled in right away. And then we've got a little bit of a commercial spot here and a cemetery that is kind of padding the area between the industrial and residential. Let me speed things up a little bit, because traffic does look like it's moving pretty slow, but it's moving okay. These are 2-lane roads that we made coming off this highway. So they're not as fast as what we can upgrade to later on with the 2-lane highway roads, which we will do once we unlock those. Let me make sure that we haven't unlocked those already, actually. Those come with the mass transit DLC. They're under the highways here. 2-lane highway with Soundburst. So we do have the 2-lane highway. We may as well upgrade this now to speed up the traffic flow a little bit through here. It won't make the biggest difference, but cars do adhere to a speed limit on every road. So if these are highways, they'll technically drive a little bit faster on them, and that should help move traffic a bit. In fact, this right here, where these trucks are, any of this is not really zoned here off on this side, so we can speed them up on here as well too. And it removes the zoning as a result, but it should help this area flow a little bit better. Right now we've got industry kind of on this same exit, and it lets us, you know, build a decent amount of traffic through here. I switched to some one-ways just to force traffic flow through this area and prevent left-hand turns in front of each other here. You can see one downside about the 4-lane roads is that if somebody wants to get to, say, one of these businesses on this block, they actually have to come all the way down to the end and make a U-turn, because you can't turn left over this median. But they can turn left at the intersections, which is okay. Now, let's talk about the problems that we're having before we work on our next little expansion project. We've got a couple problems going on. So this icon right here, and I'm going to slow down to 1x speed just so problems don't get too bad in the background and we can still see things moving. This little icon right here is telling us there's not enough workers, which, because we have that huge residential demand, I'll actually pause it. On second thought, I'll pause it. We have a huge residential demand. We need more people living in the town. That's the biggest problem that we have right now. Second problem that we have is garbage. And if we bring out our inspector tool, or on PC, if you just click on a building without any tool highlighted, you can actually see that the recycling center has garbage reserves. So it can store garbage and then it processes it and recycles it. So the recycling center can process 48,000 units of garbage per week. We've got almost 300,000 though sitting in there, so it's almost filled up. So for right now, we will add a dump here as well. And that should at least allow us to store some of that garbage that we can't process off of the recycling plant for now. Eventually we'll add more recycling plants, and we'll drop in incineration plants so that we can burn off some of that garbage, turn it into a little bit of excess energy. Now, another problem that we have, and we'll bulldoze some buildings in the meantime, is that we've got some abandoned commercial buildings here. And that happens because there's either not enough people buying products or there's not enough workers. In this case, though, you can see these little pop-ups. There's not enough educated workers. So we're trying to solve that with keeping on top of our education demands. And let's see where we're at with that. So if we bring up info views, we can go to education. We can see elementary is well covered. High school is well covered, and we don't have university yet. We unlock that at 7,500 population. So since that is one of our biggest problems, let's find a way to get some more people living in our city. Maybe we'll start by expanding this neighborhood over here all the way up to the town line. like to kind of curve that just a little bit, but stay on the beach. Just a little bit of a bend. And we'll connect this through as well too. So I want to do that. Keep these neighborhoods a little bit separate. But again, to make things a little easier for fire and emergency services, we'll connect those two as well. We could probably zone off over here. And let's connect that up to the middle, maybe? Just so there's another route out of these neighborhoods. And that way we're not overlapping too much of our zoning. We can fix our power lines here a bit. They don't need to overlap so much. That's getting power from over there. So we'll break out our zoning. I don't want I don't want people living right next to these pumps, but we're gonna move those pumps. So for now, we'll go ahead and move some residents in. We'll put some commercial buildings right here on the corner. Those will get overwritten as we continue that road down, but you know, it's a convenience store for kids to buy snacks at if they forgot their lunch. So we'll zone all this off as residential, and then we'll check our water. And same thing we did before, the main street, we don't want people living on it. We want that to be more of businesses, so we'll zone that off in commercial. We'll break out our pipes. We've already covered all that, which is good. So we'll go ahead and hit play there. Get some people moving in. Now I know we don't have great fire coverage over here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we do. We added in the firehouse. Did we add a police department as well? We did, so that should be okay. And we got some houses moving in. Now, do we continue to meet industry demand over here? Or do we start kind of planning to move it up over here towards this area? I'm thinking this is going to be kind of a downtown area. It's tough to kind of tell where might be a better spot. I kind of want to expand in every direction from this center tile, so I don't want to go too far left across the river. But that looks like that could be a cool area too. It would be nice to kind of build neighborhoods up here by the highway, curve it around up into that little valley. Just thinking out loud here. It's you know, what do we want to do with this? I really kind of would like to build up by that bay. Maybe even up over there towards that interchange. But let's expand where we're at for now. So let's see what building down to the south looks like. We could kind of build down to this forest over here. Kind of wrap things back around. Let's kind of continue what we were doing over here. We might blow out this road. Or we could continue this road down to the south and then build in neighborhoods that connect in the back. Let's go that route. That doesn't seem to be snapping just right. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to delete this segment and this segment, because it was kind of snapping to those side roads, unfortunately. We'll come up 30 units. Let's try and connect those roads back up without blowing away too many houses. That worked. Gonna curve this one in just a little bit. I think everything's okay there. Mark that off as commercial right off the bat. And then we'll do some more of our little neighborhoods over here. Maybe we can curve this around this way towards the other set of streets. Something like that. So I've been jumping back and forth from the console version to the PC version, and one mod that I really miss is Move It. And it has, I think, 2 different sub-mod requirements related to props. But it basically lets you click on a node or a segment of road, grab it and shift it over. So you can kind of make these curves a little bit more the way you wanted them. Or when it comes to things like highway, you can, make your highway a little bit more evenly spaced. Because sometimes it's tough to curve 2 segments of highway and make them line up just right. And Move It is a fantastic mod that's not really, it's not a cheat mod. It doesn't affect performance too negatively as long as you're not going too crazy moving segments of road. You can kind of stretch them to the point where the AI gets confused about the nodes. But if you're just talking about shifting little bits over here and there, Move It is a fantastic mod for those of you that like to nitpick little bends in the road like this. Like, I would like to smooth that out and just drag it a little bit over to the right, but I'm not going to worry about that on console. Now, our next tile, the problem with these 2 tiles, like, we needed access to this water. This one doesn't have a ton of buildable land, but I think this is going to be the next one that we're going to do, because I want to come under this bridge with an access road. I want to build our sewage pipes up under there, most likely. So that, I think, is going to be our next tile, and we're just going to keep kind of pushing up that way towards the coast. So with that in mind, if we want to get kind of a 9 square tile, so 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left, 5, 6 to the right, 7, 8, 9 maybe? Maybe that's what we'll do. We could go across the river too, though, and do a big downtown area over there. It's tough. So another mod that's worth pointing out on PC, let me hit play. Let's have some people move in. Another mod that's pretty cool on the PC is called 81 tiles. So the map itself, the entire map that we're looking at, is 81 tiles, and it basically lets you build on the entire thing anywhere you want. It does take a ton of performance hit if you do build everywhere on the map, but if you space things out, it gives you freedom to kind of really expand and build wherever you want. Excellent, 5,000. So we've got our busy town milestone now at 5,000. We can do tourism specialization. We've got some new policies we can put in place. We've got some additional decorative roads. So highways with sound barriers. We got our 2 lanes with sound barriers that we just upgraded. And larger power plant in the form of the oil power plant. You have your police headquarters and fire station, which cover larger areas, as well as the hospital. Let's take a quick moment and look at our policies. See what we haven't enabled yet, like recycling, super important. Recreational use, also important. Recycle plastic. Those will help build up less garbage over time, which is good. I can't believe I forgot to enable those. We can encourage biking to reduce some of the traffic. We're not really having traffic problems yet per se, but it's not a bad thing to enable. I think that's pretty good for now. Yeah, we should be good there. I mean, if we wanted to go heavy duty in the green, you can have everybody switch over to electric cars. So that does come with a cost per vehicle per week. And then the industrial buildings can filter waste, but that does cost per building per week as well. We'll start small with the filter industrial waste. Eventually we'll go on to the electric cars, and then we can have green areas where combustion engines are banned, and we might look at that policy, say, for some of our greener neighborhoods at some point. Now, we still have a bit of a garbage problem, but we just threw in that second dump, and it's starting to kind of eat away at that. We're running into sewage problems now. So info views, water, and our sewage treatment is not the best availability right now. We'll throw another one in right over here. We will end up moving these pretty soon. Actually, come to think of it, hold on. Did we unlock a tile during that last milestone? We did not. We do at 7,500. So we'll throw another one in here for now. That should clamp on. Okay, that is active and that is producing plenty of output for our water system. Got another abandoned building over here. Not enough educated workers. We're working on that. So a ton of industry demand. Let's build a couple more blocks up here. Now that we're filtering the waste, I don't feel as bad. So let's see. So we'll break out our one-way roads. Come out 10 units because we want to really pack in the industry over here. And we'll do, say, 2 blocks for now. Because again, we don't want this to be the ultimate resting place for our industry. And then we'll break out our regular 2-lane roads to extend this way, since we don't want people getting stuck and not being able to come back. We don't have a one-way route coming the other way. We'll fix our pipes real quick. Ideally, we're going to get rid of all industry at some point, because that's not really what we want on green cities. Then again, once we unlock the Eden project, you can pollute all you want. It won't affect the ground or air or water. So this is already filling up. There's, again, a ton of industry demand. We'll see if we have enough workers, though, because right now everybody's kind of in school and hoping for some office jobs that will eventually move into the city with the IT cluster option that we have on the office space zoning, which we can't actually show until we unlock that tab at 7,500. So we're going to do another street off over here. And I think maybe what I'll do is, if I don't build south, maybe I'll kind of falsely fill in these trees over here a bit, so that this forest line comes up over here. But where do we want to kind of draw the line? Let's do that first. So if we had a road that kind of curved along the base of this mountain, and maybe curved out this way, where these trees are. And we can kind of curve that in here. Something like that. That could kind of be the edge of our town to the south. And then we can expand up that way. So let's connect this up. We'll delete this last segment. Actually, I want to curve this in a little bit differently. Whoop, not like that. Like that, maybe? And we'll come straight across here. And then curve some neighborhoods in through here. You could fill that in with some trees. Give some people room to move in. Let's extend our grid down here. Make sure everybody's got fresh water. Okay, a little bit of a mess of pipes. That's okay. Let's double check our districts. Ooh, we didn't extend this one out. What do we think? We'll have a couple regular houses on the edge of the green neighborhood. We'll leave them for now. We can always overwrite it later. Because if we overwrite it, they are going to move out. The demand's really high, though, so they'll move right back in. That should be okay. This is one thing, I think I mentioned it before. This I love with a mouse. Painting districts with a controller is not so fun. So now let's zone this off. We'll keep with the same principle. We'll have some waterfront property here. Now, right now, this is not going to be the best house to live in. In fact, let's just not zone that until we move those pumps. We'll do that after. But these should fill in pretty fast, thanks to all the demand. This one we'll do. Let's stamp out our commercial first, and then we can just overwrite everything with residential. Let's do that. Be quicker. So we'll go to our selection tool and just paint over all of that. So we've got this kind of main street where all the businesses are. You've got the neighborhoods off to the sides. We do have a massive worker problem, and I was afraid of that because we're focusing on education and people are going to school. They're not going right to work. So this is going to be a persistent problem right now. We could fix it with the schools out. Where is it? The schools out policy. So citizens will prefer working over education, and only a small percentage will go to study in university. Now, we don't have the university until 7,500, but again, I really want to focus on education over here. Speaking of, let's see where we're at. So elementary school wise, we're good, but when all these people move in, that is definitely going to change. So let's plan ahead, and we'll drop it in elementary right there. Let's see, high school wise, we're pretty good, but again, we're a little dry over here for coverage. Drop that in. So we've got 3 high schools, pretty decent green coverage all over the map. Elementary school is pretty green everywhere too. We can make it a little bit better over here by just extending that one road. Like that. Move a couple more people in here. And now if we go back and look at our elementary coverage, that's a little better now. So plenty of capacity there. And as soon as we can, we're going to drop in and find a spot for our university. Maybe that could be kind of its own little campus out here in the woods. That could be kind of cool. We could do maybe like a little street off of here. Have a couple of administrative buildings and offices, which we will unlock at the same time, and then plop the university down there in the woods. So yeah, this is going to be a problem. We know this. So for those of you that aren't familiar with these pop-ups or aren't familiar with how to solve this problem, Schools Out is a great way to do that. All these businesses are moving in, there's demand for industry, there's not enough workers to fill those spots. So you could use that Schools Out policy, get everybody working in industry if industry is what you want, you know, your town to be built off of. I'm really hoping for more of a IT cluster, big downtown area somewhere over there on the other side of the highway. We'll kind of slowly ramp up our zoning. So on the other side of the highway, we can have like a commercial area. And the regular commercial buildings, as you'll see, are a little bit bigger than the small residential. We can then move to regular office space and high density residential, which will be a little bit taller than those. And then the IT cluster office spaces are going to be the tallest buildings by far. So if you kind of look at any city, you know, you're going to have in real life, that is, you're going to have smaller buildings on the outskirts and the suburbs. Then the buildings get bigger and bigger and bigger until you get to this massive downtown area. And we're going to try and replicate that here. And I'm thinking putting it down there on the water. Either way, hopefully we'll have access to a shipping lane somewhere. I'm hoping this river is big enough that there is a shipping lane through there. Looks like that one to the north probably would have it, right? That looks like a straight shot at the ocean, so hopefully we'll be good there. We will ignore this problem for now. How's traffic doing? Traffic's a little slow. And where is all the traffic going? Is it going back into the zone? Dump trucks and recycling are. So what we could do here, we'll blow out a couple businesses to do this, but what if we did this? So we'll go to our one-way roads. We'll connect from here to here. I'll show you what I'm thinking. Connect here to here. We'll change the direction. I wanted to do that just so I could have a nice straight line off of there. And then we're going to upgrade this to highway. Because you can't do a 90-degree bend like that off highway to highway. You can take this road and then upgrade it to highway though, and it will keep its shape. In fact, you know, we don't even need a highway. We can do it a little cheaper and just do an off-ramp. There we go. So if trucks need to get back into the zone, they don't have to hit the rotary. In fact, you know what? Come to think of it, there's a better way I could do that. So back to our one-way roads. Let's go right here in the middle. We'll curve that. Change our directions. There we go. And we'll upgrade this to a off-ramp now. That way that gets traffic that needs to get back into the zone off of this road sooner, like that blue truck, thank you. So that should help this problem a little bit we're having at the rotary. Anything that's circulating back into the industrial system isn't going to line up and wait to get on the rotary to come right back in. Now we do create some traffic here at this intersection as a result, and we will solve that problem better down the road when we redevelop the industry area, but I think that's a good quick fix. What we do need to do though is go over to this tool because we've created a stoplight now. And let's see where traffic is backing up the most and give the right of way to it. It's actually doing pretty well, but it looks like the traffic coming off of the rotary is the heaviest. So let's stop these lanes of traffic so that they have to give the right of way to the people coming in off the highway, basically. And that should help speed things up a little bit. So still industrial demand, still some residential demand, which I'm kind of surprised there is any at all, because I think all this is zoned off. So that should dwindle as people start to move in and realize there's plenty of industrial space there. So let's do a little time lapse, because I'm honestly going to just, because at this point I'm just going to meet the basic needs, and our next big step is at 7,500. So we're going to buy a new zone. We're going to start thinking about metro, and then we have the ability to do office space and specifically the IT cluster, as well as high density residential and commercial. So this is a big milestone for the growth of the city. It's one of my favorites, is getting the metro, gets a ton of traffic off the roads. You can start building high density spaces, and we're going to start on the other side of the highway. So we'll redo this off ramp to be a cloverleaf, so that this highway can continue across. So that's going to be a pretty major revamp. So let's time lapse this for a moment. I'll try not to change anything too drastically, and we'll be back when we hit 7,500. We'll see you in a minute. All right, and we're back. We have a big commercial demand happening right now. So what I want to do to hopefully encourage some growth, we're going to go into our 4-lane roads. We're going to upgrade this route up this way. So this is a kind of a main artery, right? Going north to south and east to west through our city. I'm going to start kind of building up towards the highway. I don't want to eat into this forest too much, but we might extend this neighborhood up a little bit. We'll go to our straight tool. We'll bring this up to, say, here. We'll go to here, because I'm gonna rebuild this this ramp, so I don't want to have to redo too much of that. But we'll make this commercial space as well. We'll break out our zoning tool. We'll go into the selection, and you can actually deselect with the same tool. So on Xbox and PlayStation, it's the X button or the square button. So when I highlight a zone and hit A, it's painting that zone. If I hold X, I can actually dezone all of that, and then that allows me to rezone it as commercial, which we'll do all along this strip. We'll do the same thing. We'll dezone 4 houses back. We're gonna move a couple people out to do this. That's okay. And we'll get more commercial space in there. Let's build a few more neighborhoods. Now, these intersections are a little closer together than I would like, but we can come in here and turn off some of these traffic lights, and we haven't really done a revamp of the traffic lights yet, but we will do that. Let's get a couple more neighborhoods up here. And we'll do what we did before. We'll go down to here and build off of that. So we'll go back 12 units off the road for maximum zoning. And the reason again that I'm doing this with that little bit of a buffer zone in between is if we go over to our landscaping, we have these pavement and gravel paths that we can do for pedestrians, so they can cut through neighborhoods and we don't have to eat up that zoning. So they don't have to walk all the way around, they can cut through these little back alleys and walk through that way. And we could do that all through here. We have some power lines run through here that we don't need anymore. We can get rid of those. Now, it's nice in the low density, but not as necessary. When we get into much bigger grids of the downtown area, that can be a huge help. So let's just do residential there for now. We'll check our water. We'll check our zoning. And then we'll go back to our little time lapse on our way to 7,500. Do a quick check of our info views. Electricity we're going to need very soon. Sewage treatment we're going to need again. Crazy how little these eco outlets handle. We've got the money. What do we unlock? Do we unlock this at 7,500? We do. We need the power though to get there. So this will be our last coal plant, hopefully. Cram it in right next to the others, and we should be producing a ton of electricity now. Let's play it for a second. Electricity is good. Water is good. Fire coverage is definitely a little light over there. Let's upgrade this. Pause. We'll delete our fire station and put in a upgraded fire department, which when we hit play on that and go back into our info views, should cover a much larger area. We've got a bit of a light spot over here. And definitely down there. We'll revamp that as we go. But that should be good for now. Education-wise, plenty of elementary, plenty of high school, and we will very soon be dropping in a university. So hopefully, this guy's sick from the pollution. Let's check our healthcare coverage over here. So there's two ways that you can kind of solve these problems. When people get sick, it's from the pollution, it's from noise. If they're getting sick, you could obviously resolve the problem with the pollution. You could resolve the problems with the noise, but you don't necessarily have to do that if there's good medical coverage in an area. Right now, there is not good medical coverage down here. We're still running this whole town off of one little med clinic. So what if we cram in a hospital down here somewhere? Let's do that. Kind of a big hospital right across from here. We're definitely going to want to fill in a little bit more down here, though, because that's a bit of a waste not having a lot of coverage area down here. We'll probably circle in one more little loop over here, but I think this is going to be the southern tip of our town. I don't think I'm going to buy these tiles to the south. That is kind of a cool ridge line down there, those cliffs that we could build on. There's some good farmland there. We kind of have that same effect, not with the cliffs, but you know, we've got all the water access over there. We've got water access across the river. So we'll take a look at where we buy next, but that should get us to 7,500, I'm hoping. And then we have a ton of stuff to buy for our town. We can start planning high density areas, metros, revamping the highway, and the university. University is going to be first, though, so that we can make sure we've got people in education to take those office jobs as soon as they're available. So once again, we will be right back when we get to 7,500. Stay tuned. And we're back, 7,500 population. So this is a ton of exciting developments for our city. We've got a new area we can buy. The high density residential and commercial, as well as office zones. And as a part of the Green Cities update, one of the things we can specialize office zones in is IT clusters. So let's pause the game for a moment. Let's bring up our economy tab and let's check our loan status out. We can get another $20,000. This one needs a population of 19,000, so we can't take out that loan anytime soon. But what we're going to do next, in the next episode, is start to plan out our downtown area. We've got access to highways, so we can start to rebuild this off-ramp into a a new interchange. So it's a three-way T intersection now. We're going to carry this highway over the other highway, perpendicular, and start to build down towards that coast. And our high density stuff's going to be over there. So we're going to do kind of a cloverleaf approach, if you will, or of kind of a four-way, but I've got an idea on how to do that a little bit more efficiently than the standard cloverleaf intersection. It's going to require some serious modification, some serious money though, so I want to be able to support that traffic well, and it's going to take us some money to do that. We want to drop in our university, and in fact, let's do that first. I'm thinking right here, our first university on this little road. We'll space it a little bit from that high school. So that ate into a ton of our money, but that made all of our residents happy, which is good. We haven't dropped in any parks yet, which will also make them happy, and we can start to drop in some of our unique buildings. Let's water our university and snake some power over there real quick. Let's also rename our university. Since it's Santa Rico, it's going to be SRU. And we need a ton of money for these projects that are coming up. So I mentioned this, I believe, in a previous episode, but we'll go into economy. We'll go into taxes. We don't have any high density zone now, but we have unlocked it, which is why you can see we have the option to set the taxes for those. But we're going to crank up our taxes to 29%. We're going to hit play, and we're going to wait for that population growth to stop to generate some money. You can see the demand meters totally drop off almost immediately because no one wants to move into a town with 29% tax. But let's get some money for the town. Let's let everybody complain for a minute. And as soon as the population drop, as soon as population growth drops below 0, we'll switch it back to our 12% sweet spot. But we're making a ton of money for the town in the meantime. Okay, there we go. We're at 0 now. Go back into economy. Fix these sliders. And everyone will stop complaining about the high taxes. We needed to do it. We needed some money. Sorry to the residents of Santa Rico, but you are funding our future, and it is greatly appreciated. So that is a great place for us to break today. We've expanded our neighborhoods out a little bit. We could buy this tile. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about it before I start buying tiles. But I'm pretty sure we're going to buy that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll figure out where 7, 8, 9 are going to be. But I'm pretty sure those are going to be the next couple tiles we're going to buy. But that is all for this episode. Episode 3 of our second season of Let's Play. If you enjoyed the video, likes, comments, shares all help the channel a lot and are greatly appreciated, and I really do mean it. It is greatly appreciated, and it does help the channel, so anything you can do to get the word out is always appreciated, and it does help more people find this series and this channel. If you're new here, subscribe for more City Skylines and lots of other great gaming videos, and consider hitting that bell to get notifications, because it's very easy for a small channel like mine to get lost in the shuffle. I say it every time, but a couple of people pointed out that even with notifications turned on, they don't always get those. So come back, check out the channel, see if you missed any new content, because you may not see it in your subscriber feed or notifications all the time. But until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.